Conference will now be recorded.
Good today. What's that? No, it was fine.
There's a few people on the river today. I noticed. At first, I thought there's nobody out there, but I ended up posting, and I kept seeing more and more. You know.
Yeah, I was out there today.
For your soul.
I was rowing, paddling for pesos, not fishing.
Yeah. Oh, you can't see. I should go watch a pool. I can just barely. This is why we do this. Why I like this. Oh.
Yep. All right, good evening. Let's get this meeting started for October 9th with a roll call of the council. Commissioner Selly.
Here.
Commissioner Way.
Here.
Commissioner Abernathy. Here. And Commissioner Hardy is on his way back from Helena with the cross country team. Last heat didn't start until 4:30, so I don't think he'll be coming in even at the eke of the end. If we could all please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the September 11th meeting minutes.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any additions or corrections? Call on the vote then. Selly.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Approval of the 18th meeting and work session minutes.
I move we approve the minutes from the September 18th meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Any additions or corrections? Wait.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Then the last one was September 25th public hearing and meeting minutes.
I move we approve the meeting minutes from September 25th.
I'll second that motion.
Additions or corrections? All right, Mitch, you're up.
Aye. Aye.
department reports. I saw her, didn't I? Karen. Your snack time.
Did you bring candy too?
Good evening. I have a really short report this month. Everything's going very well at the library. Still busy in town and in the building. We've slowed down a little bit, but not a lot. The only thing I really wanted to point out was that I put it on here on my report, but I just wanted to point it out. We got the opportunity to partake in a great partnership with the Montana State Library and a nonprofit. It's a national nonprofit that supports arts with the senior community. And we got partnered with an artist in Bozeman. Her name is Allison McGree. She's an acrylic artist. So we have for 6 weeks, starting next week, we have an opportunity for people over the age of 60 to sign up for an acrylic landscape class with a professional artist at free of charge through all our partners and the friends of the library. A really great opportunity, both for connection and just learning a new skill, and really a non-judgmental, safe space. She's just there to introduce everyone to the to color, to working with color. Yeah. So spread the word if you have any friends over the age of 60 and they want to dabble in the arts. It's a perfect opportunity.
What are your hours right now?
Right now, Monday 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday 9 to 6, Thursday, Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 10 till 2.
And those are going to be consistent through the fall?
Yes, the fall and winter. Nope, that's where we'll be.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right, thanks everyone.
Eric, you're up.
I don't have much more in my report. We just been getting ready for what's coming weather-wise and staying busy.
Any questions for Eric? Susie, you be up.
I'm sorry, I didn't turn in a written report. I had 2 auxiliary permits, 1 zone site permit. I just returned from the planning conference in Helena. I was there for 3 days. It was tremendous. It always is. And we spent a lot of time talking about Senate Bill 528. And I think that in the future, we probably should look at that bill. It's on ADUs, accessory dwelling units. And it basically says that anybody with a single home can put an ADU behind them. And a lot of the towns are proactive in bigger towns and put some guidelines in place prior to this bill being passed. We don't. So you basically can't ask a lot of questions about them. I mean, anybody can live there. It doesn't have to be grandma, or they can do anything basically they want with it. And they're allowed. They have to permit them still, but they are allowed. So
Within square footage.
correct. So I think we should try to set some parameters for it. I think once the news gets out, and everybody.
We've already seen some permits where they're like, oh, we heard this happened. We're going to try and put an ADU behind every single one of our triplexes. Can we do that?
It does say for single family dwelling, so we were able to avoid that one.
The proposed zoning covers ADU. And there's no minimums on the square footage of the land, anything like that?
They have to meet the setbacks that are
But
required.
other than that, I mean, there's not say 1 for a quarter acre or 0.25, anything like that. Sorry.
Did they put the parameter on that the owner of the property has to live in either the single family home or the ADU? I think that's what Whitefish does. And so
We
then
can
that,
put it there, but it's not.
no, I know it's not there now. So, but that would be probably,
So an owner could rent it out the way you're saying, could rent it out one and rent out the ADU or whatever.
no, so to prevent investors buying single family homes and exacerbating our housing affordability crisis, what you do is you require the owner of the property to live on the property, whether
But right now it's not set up that way.
no, it's not
There's
set up that
several
way.
things you can do.
Yeah, so there's several things that you can do to help, because then a young couple could buy a single family house and offset their mortgage by having an ADU or something along those lines. So that's what I was just, and it sounds like this bill does not prevent you from putting those parameters on. So it'd be a smart thing to do.
So I do have a handout, and if you're interested, I'll forward it to you. It's actually like their slide that they show, so I'll forward it to you if you're interested in it.
Would you do that?
Yes, I will.
It's HB 528
SB.
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 SB. I say HB 528 is not making
And I
sense.
know a lot of the other towns put stipulations then on their water lines, like it couldn't be just directed through the primary residence water line. It had to have its own separate. There was quite a few.
There's not very many, actually. That was a huge discussion in the class about water lines. Most of them
Some towns did.
allow for them to go off the main structure. But I can also do some research and call some other towns and get what they're doing. And then on the rest of the court, we've gotten a few tickets from the county. We're up to 120 something, 122, something like that. Any questions? Yes.
How's the side project going? Side quest,
The,
house number.
oh, yes. It's going well. It's taking way longer than I anticipated. I have lots of people stop me and say, what are you doing? I'm a creeper now and driving around looking at everybody's addresses and marking.
Are we required to be lighted? I mean,
They are not required to be lighted.
reflective.
No.
I don't think it says that. 3 inches, I think is what it
Because
says.
I have, under my porch, next to my door is my address, but you cannot see it from the road.
Yeah,
And definitely at night, you're not gonna see it.
right. And I've marked all those and obviously I just look at them during the daytime.
Right.
If I've marked them during the daytime, you definitely can't see them at night.
Yeah.
So it's going. I have North 40 and Main Street left. So. Too many. Anything else?
No, that's the reminder. If Susie can't find you, the ambulance, the fire, or FedEx, or UPS can't find you either.
They can't find you if they're standing right in front of you.
It might make it a little bit easier. All right, clerks.
Have my written any questions?
How's the training going?
Which training?
It's over.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
Oh,
fine.
that training, yeah.
We're making headway. She keeps adding things that she's doing.
So like 50% there, 70% there,
Oh my gosh, John.
20? Just number.
Oh my God. It really is hard to say.
You'd have to break down to each part of the job, I would think. Like claims, definitely there. All the utility billing, I'd say she's at 100% now. And now we're gonna like challenge her all over again. And how to do our rates. She's gonna be she's gonna be the lead on that.
Brenna's
It's not gonna be
doing,
a small amount of work. It will be a ton of work for Brenna.
yeah, she's doing most of the deposits.
Mhm.
And also, I think we mentioned it before, she's doing the administration on the planning board grant. So she's been working on that the last couple of days to make sure that everything is in line and on time.
And then she's been helping me with the CDBG stuff as well. Anything that Craig needs for that. That one, so, because she'll be probably the lead on that grant if we get it as well. The administrator, one of the administrators on it. Anything else? Okay. Claims. We're just the claims. It's okay.
Is there a motion to approve or?
Not yet.
I think that's what she's asking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I move we approve claims.
I seconded, I've already looked at them, but wait on John, he has any questions.
You can go ahead.
Nothing in here different.
So we're back to,
Motion and second, and then
and we're back to you.
I,
All right, public comment on non-agenda items.
Good evening, Brittany Hirsch speaking. I just wanted to take some time to share concern about the length of time it took for me to receive a very simple public records request. I asked for 9 months of bank statements and a payroll report printed from 3 different dates in the year 2025. These are basic records that should be easy to access. Not only did it take 1 week to get an acknowledgement of my request, but it took 3 weeks to get the documents. On top of that, not only was I charged for copies, which is understandable, but also an hour of staff time to produce the records, which seems excessive given how straightforward the request was. In fact, the payroll reports show that it took 1 minute and 17 seconds to pull them. So that tells me printing bank statements took an hour, maybe a few minutes for emailing me to let me know that the records were ready and my request was received. Taking this long to get basic financial information sends the wrong message about transparency and public access. Open, efficient sharing of records builds trust in local government, while delays and extra costs make the process feel unnecessarily difficult. And arguably, it deters the public from even making requests. I would encourage the town to review its records process to make sure simple requests like this can be handled quickly, affordably, and with transparency as the top priority, possibly while not spending the town's lawyer time to make sure that nothing is, I would like to say in my email of acknowledgement, I was told that my request for bank statements and a payroll report was going to legal to make sure nothing was shared with the public that shouldn't be. I think the town should know what's available to be shared with the public without bothering the town lawyer to double check those types of things. Thank you.
Second call for public comment on non-agenda items. Last call for public comment on non-agenda items. All right, moving on to scheduled matters. We have one commission seat that is available to the end of 2025. We had one applicant. Hi, applicant. Christy, would you like to come introduce yourself And then if anybody has any questions.
My name's Christy Ransom.
You have to go over that. You have
I
to
go-
go over the mic. Have to retrain you.
My name is Christy Ransom. I'm a local business owner and have already served on the town commission for 3 years. I grew up in Ennis and I've been back in Ennis for 12 years. Any questions?
When you served before,
4 or 5 years I've been off. I don't remember the years.
no, not that.
3?
long. 3.
3 off.
3.
Did you resign or did you term out?
Quit. Resigned.
What was the reason for quitting?
Received interesting like bullying or threat from Officer Moore that made me feel uncomfortable. Chief Moore, I don't know, sorry. I misspoke.
Sorry that happened.
So you feel comfortable finishing the rest of this term, the 2025?
Yes.
But it's only 2 months, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, should she choose, she can reapply for the MTC.
The 2-year term.
Yep. We can't fill it early.
Do I have to reapply? Letter of interest again come December?
Mhm. You have to reopen it. Any questions from the floor? Or yes, there's a quorum.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the application of Christie to the open seat ending in December.
I'll second.
We're ready to vote?
Aye.
Christy, do you want to jump in now? Do you feel comfortable? All right. I'm doing the swearing. Oh. There's a photograph. Oh, right there. All right. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support and
Defect.
that I will support, protect, and
protect and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and the Charter of the Town of Ennis,
and the Charter of the Town of Ennis.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
You may say so help you God.
What we got.
Thank you. You can, you don't have to. All right, but you do need to sign in your beautiful handwriting that it is you and that it was not the other person. Two files of you.
There's 2 of me.
Oh, you just emailed Sharon.
Like my scratch paper.
You want a piece of paper?
I have.
It's already got.
It's
my-
left-handed.
It's already important. Notes from something else.
All right, Commissioner Nehan was our appointed member of the planning board. And with him vacant, I would like to appoint with commission's approval, Commissioner Hardy to the planning board. I have already spoken to Hardy and he did yes to the request before I just put them on the
You
agenda.
skip a meeting and this is what happens.
See, you knew that's how that goes. So may I have a motion?
I move we accept Commissioner Hardy on the planning board.
I'll second that.
All right, public, do you have any comment for that? Any discussion amongst commission? All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and to round us out for at least a little bit, and then it creates a quorum. Per our book, we may appoint an employee. One member can be appointed by the town commission who, in the discretion of the town commission, may be an employee or hold office within the town. So I'd like to appoint Susie. She may be a non-voting member for any of the staff reports, but I think her assistance in finishing out the growth policy will keep that together and on the right track.
I agree.
Yeah, I was worried that we couldn't appoint her because she was an employee, but if our charter says so, then
It's
Well, it
allowed.
makes sense that she's there.
yeah. Yeah.
She's there anyway. Do I have a motion? Second?
I'll second that.
All right. Public comment? Any questions? Anything? Christie, you're up first on the vote.
Oh,
Aye.
All right.
Nikki, on these resolutions, can I just abstain?
You may, because they're a thing. So resolution 615, 2025 is a resolution adopting the 2024 Western Montana Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. So this is a plan that's been in process with our local LEPC, and it's basically an update that has to happen every, I want to say 5 years. So we have our major plan anyway, and then they just have to update it every 5 years for us to be eligible anytime there's, I guess like our flood was a good example for us to be able to assess emergency mills. If we declare a state of emergency or any of that, we have to have adopted the mitigation plan. And so that's what it is. And we went through our fire hazard mitigation and everything else. So
And all of these are recommendations from
yes,
who?
from LEPC, from Joe Brummel at DES coordinates that. So it's a too large of a file. So we have it stored here in the drive, so we can pull it anytime we need to use those plans, but they're here. And we can have a paper copy too, which probably is going to be smart to do now that I think about it, because we don't always have power if something goes wrong here.
Yeah.
So, and then, so that makes us eligible for any funding should we need it in an emergency. And some, even of the mitigation, if there was a fuels reduction, some of those things. Not that we have a lot of urban interface right into town, but it makes us eligible for those funding sources.
I'll move to support resolution 615-2025.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Public comment? Discussion amongst the commission. Any questions? I can try not on anything else.
Seems pretty
but-
straightforward. That's, yeah.
All right, then where am I at? Mitch? Aye.
Aye.
And you're abstaining if you're now. Okay. Resolution 616 to authorize the submission of CDBG. Craig Erickson prepped this and wants to make sure that all of our T's are crossed and I's are there and everything else for that submission. Throwing all the weight we can at it. So we thought this would be a good one to have in the file.
I move to accept resolution 616, 2025.
Is that in our full? I don't see that.
CBDG. Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Did I just miss it? But
CDBG, Community
CDBG.
Development Block Grant.
CDBG.
oh,
There's the application. Yeah, it's the Ennis certification. It's not called the resolution. Certification or application.
do we have a motion or a second, or
I moved.
She moved. We don't have a second.
I'll second it.
All right. Public comment? All right. Where am I at? I'm back to Sally. And
Aye.
Mitch. Okay. So that was basically in the same thing. It's just our certification that we're fulfilling the application. I don't know. I put both documents in there if there was any questions. That's the official certification letter, which looked enough like a contract. I'm like, okay, throw it in there too.
Do you need a motion?
We're gonna make it all
I move
official,
we,
so I'll-
we approve the Montana CDBG certification for application.
I'll second that.
second. Public comment? All right. We're gonna vote. You're up.
Aye.
Mitch?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, so resolution 617, I sent you an email, is not complete because things got sideways. In the resolution, we have to deem any of our increases. So we can do, we already know where our target rate is, that increase, but you may do an annual increase as well. Do we want to do that? So I need to know that. And you can do up to 3%.
I think we
For-
discussed this very briefly last time after
for inflation.
you and I discussed afterwards. My concern with making the jump to meet the requirements for the CDBG in 1 year is going to be a financial stressor for a lot of people. I think we increase small amounts at a time.
Two increases to get there?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do it in two increases. You want it in two increases, divide it into two increases. So those will be at $12, about 12 and some change.
Right.
For each increase. And then do you want to build in the annual increase? We
There's a
did,
requirement.
we did last time water rates were done, there was an increase built in.
Like a 2%, like a
It was
COLA, like a.
Yeah, it was 2% last.
Like a 2%.
You can say something.
Well, isn't the annual already in a resolution or?
That's what I was fixing to
Yeah, so would you have to do,
But since you're doing a rate increase anyway at this point, I think you're better safe than sorry to just write it into the resolution of intent. So if you want to leave it at 2% for annual, you can do 3%.
So does this resolution replace the existing resolution?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, replaces
So that's why I wanted to make sure that we had
It's
everything
not in-
prepped for it.
it. I agree, we should include that.
So.
But
do-
we have the, we have the ability to not increase if we don't need to, or is it automatic?
You mean the annual increase?
Mm-hmm.
We need to launch restrictions.
I think that
It's
you're not gonna
It's
keep up
automatic.
with, it is automatic. You're not gonna keep up with the increase in costs.
Well, then too, that causes us to have to vote every single year.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
So you can do 2%, 3%, whatever you choose. We chose 2% last time.
I just have a question. How will you space out the two increases?
I was gonna say too, it's gonna be like a fall and a spring or January, June, or
Fiscal year?
Okay, end of completion, so we still have to do by June, so you would do a March and a June.
So if you're going to do March and June, you might as well just do it at once, right?
Or if that's for the CDBG, so if you were doing the well site, I'd have to clarify. If it's not just the well site, that's end of June 26. If you're looking at the tower site, it's farther out, and you could do March and October.
I think
Or
if they're
even
both
March
within
and-
the fiscal year to save your,
And we just need to.
just
see our,
save
completion.
Brenna from,
Right.
the,
We have to hit our target by completion of project. And
so.
when is the targeted completion date?
They don't have a final for all of it.
So we could do an annual.
Not all
Not
of
in
it. No.
26.
First phase is 2026.
So if we meet first phase, then the next phase would be the next fiscal year.
So you
That's
could do,
how I
So one right away and then one at the next fiscal.
fiscal year. So it'd be almost 12 months. apart.
Yeah, yeah. But 3 months would be kind of,
That's too
that
close.
would be too close.
okay,
People don't know this.
People get angry.
all right. So in a separate increase, one fiscal year apart. Mhm. Yes and no. So here's the yes and no. For each increase, water special, so before we can even hold a public hearing, you have to make sure to notify every property owner and user by mail within 15 days of the public hearing. Then you hold the public hearing. Then for this, it says at least 10 days prior to the passage or enactment of resolution, you must then notify them again that there is in fact an increase. So, yes, and then you have to do it twice, since you're doing a two-step increase.
Technically 4 times, right? Because you're not talking sewer at all.
You can build a sewer into the same resolution. Do a sewer increase at the same time, which is what I'm proposing, because it's at 18. And if it's an increase in under 5%, you don't have to go through the whole process. That's why annually when we do our 2%, you don't have to send a notification when that 2% increase happens because it's under the 5% required by Montana code.
The 12 and change is just water, not sewer.
It's just water
On the base rate.
on the base rate, correct. Sewer would come to 18 to hit target rate total. And you could implement that over a much longer time because we don't have a projected project that we would have to meet a completion to. So,
Not to muddy the waters, but I do remember maybe sometime last year, but discussion of increasing rates being on the like per gallon use for an annual increase instead of the base rate to make it less of a burden on those that are on fixed income and use, 1,000 gallons a month or 2,000 gallons a month, and actually charging more for the people that use 40,000 or 80,000 gallons a month, because everyone pays the same per gallon rate. That might actually bring in more revenue for the town. And
I think you still have to meet the target rate set by the state though.
right, I'm talking about the 2 or 3%, like the annual increase. Does that have to, that doesn't have to be on the base rate, right? The town can choose to do it on the per gallon rate. Do you get what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just a thought, because there's a lot of folks on fixed income or that, it's a husband and wife and they literally use the same amount of gallons every month and then
They
it
also have
wouldn't
the
impact them.
ability to budget. If they knew,
Yes.
yeah, the
Yeah,
water bill's
whereas,
high,
you
you
know,
know, hey kids, shorter showers. Yeah.
yeah, right. Just a thought that I think would impact people that, you know, want to, if they don't want a higher water bill, then they use a lot less water because it's more costly per gallon. Oh, sorry, too late.
To add to the discussion, wondering if it would be possible to separate residential users from commercial users. And then and maybe even to promote water conservation, to have a tiered system, you know, 1 to 5,000 gallons. It's, you know, whatever it is, $1.50, you know, 5,000 gallons to 20,000 gallons is something. And then once you're up and above, then it's a more of a graduated system, which makes it slightly more complicated, but at the same time, it would then maybe encourage people who, you know, take 40-minute showers, you know, to conserve that down. Or water their lawn. Yep,
But the rates
exactly.
are different based on the lines.
Yeah, but at
So
the same
we're
time,
already there.
so you're already there.
So
But-
that's the difference between commercial and residential.
Sure, for commercial and residential, but there's still probably some residential users that have bright green lawns on the 1st of October, you know, so that are using, you know, I mean, maybe Brennan could have some insight of what an average family uses, or an average family, and what is excessive use, and then based it upon that. I would also encourage the commission to consider the properties that are water users but are not annexed into the town, and maybe set the resolution that those properties have to become annexed in the town to receive services from the town of Ennis, because at this point they are not paying into the full cost of what it costs the town to run the water system. And so, because there are always indirect costs, and I don't know how many properties that is, but I know that there are some. And so to consider that as part of the resolution, and maybe we can tackle the issue of, you know, properties that are assumed to be in the town of Ennis but are not, because they're part of this weird corner up here. So, and to help give that more direction. Thank you.
One part of the weird corner, are you gonna provide services that I don't have?
I'm just,
Sorry.
this is if you receive services. If you receive services, you should be annexed into town. What's that? Yeah. Then if you receive services, you should be annexed into town. Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
And so if I'm annexed into town, you're gonna provide services that I'm already paying for. You already get, so you should be. No. Okay.
But if you're not receiving services,
I've just been made aware that the water bill at Christensen Rentals also gets a sewer bill.
Okay.
We'd be delighted to have it provided.
yeah. I think the Montana code says that you have to have a plan, which could be, you know, work on a plan to get services to that corner of town.
How many properties are there that get services that are not annexed into town?
That, Ian,
That receive water and sewer.
like those properties, maybe 5 to 10, something like that.
7. Isn't it 7?
And none of those are
7.
paying town taxes. Pardon me? And none of us are what? Paying town taxes.
Okay, so the questions we'll do a work session once I have a draft with, do we want 2% or 3% for the annual increase? 2%. Okay, leave it as it is. And then we have to set the date for that annual increase. When's the annual increase now, Brennan?
At the beginning of every fiscal
Yeah, so leave it there. It makes the most sense because then
I
you
would
can
think
keep
so.
track. Okay. And do you want to do it on the base rate or try it on the gallons?
I think the gallons too.
Okay, so
I
we'll
really
do
think
Especially
with,
if you've raised the base rate.
start of
you've
the
got-
fiscal year.
you've got some fixed income people that, some houses only have one person living in it. They're paying the same as someone, base rate and
Do you want to incorporate the sewer as well?
yes,
In the resolution.
and
Yes.
2%. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That gives me enough to do that, and then I have to create a timeline. I have to make sure that I can prep the letters to do the thing, You have to send an official letter. It says, well, I guess it doesn't say letter. It says provide notifications to the changes. But we have this. Thank you, Sheridan, because they just did all of this, and Christy over there sent everything over to us, so it makes it a lot easier for us.
Nikki, is that you're looking at, is that what you had sent us in the email?
No, this is the extra.
Okay.
And then I thought originally I'd remembered it said user, just the user. So I would say who's billed, but it says, it's kind of almost contradicts itself because it says property owner in section 3 of it. But then later here it says all customers. So you just do both to cover all of it. So we'll have to do a little modification on our list, but I think that'll be fine. And then prep the letters for after our hearing date and expecting of it being approved or the date that they go into effect. Okay, so I'll get a draft together and then we can work through any of the changes. I thought we had to do 2 public hearings, it's still just 1. So I think we're there as far as the answers that I needed to fill in the blanks. Okay. And then we need that afterwards sent to bond counsel for loan, which we've contacted. Okay, so on to our last one, the interlocal agreement with the sheriff's office. This is the final version between Coulter and Acusa. So they made their, now we're happy, and these are the changes done. So basically, contextually, everything we said at that meeting, just legally is happy now between the county attorney and Ed.
It's not completely what we started with.
No.
And it's not got the edits that we asked for. We asked to have the chief of police removed.
Yep.
And it's in there. They also changed the termination to 60 days before the end of a term. So we have to complete one whole term before we can even quit.
Right.
That changed.
The county wouldn't agree to our version because they've already effectually put their budget together based on that amount of income.
That doesn't make sense. They wouldn't have the expense. So they wouldn't need the income. It wouldn't affect their budget at all. Bottom line, it would negate the expense of having an officer here all day long. So I don't agree with that, but I understand it's legalese. But that change is huge in my eyes, because there was always the plan to replace the police department employees here. And now if we hire someone what are we gonna tell them? You gotta wait 9 months before you can start, or you gotta wait 11 months before you can start? Because we've got this sheriff thing going. It changes the whole thing.
Compliance officer, or change the name and change the job description, because it's not gonna be chief of police anyway.
Well, the chief of police was supposed to be taken out completely.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so the first one we got, it mentioned the chief of police, and we had a problem with that, for the county sheriff to act as the chief of police for the town.
But isn't it a May? So
Yeah,
it's,
I think
it's
it
May.
says May formally appoint the
And
town
it's
May.
May, so we don't.
It's not a shall. I think it was shall
Shall.
versus
So we
may.
changed it.
So the shall is the absolute you have to. May is like you don't have to do that. You can if you want to. So that was the only difference in that part.
You can still do it if you want to.
Yeah. But it's not required.
Under that wording, that if you decided to do that, then
Sharon, can you, I'll just give you Ginger's mic.
And I can understand the 60 days from a term being that if they are hiring more officers to cover, then they're going to need time to.
well, it just changes the whole concept of this agreement from what the first one was. We are roped in for a full year. We can't do anything if we sign this.
But businesses and stuff are 5-year leases and stuff like that. 1 year.
Yeah, but we're trying to replace employees. The only reason we went in to start looking into this agreement was to have coverage during the time that we were looking for police officers to replace the ones that quit. And we know that's gonna be a 6 to 12 month endeavor.
Do we know, just aside from that, have we worked out with the county if we do hire additional police officers, what the charges for dispatch and everything else would be?
So
No,
that's what I'm like.
but our
I
town
think
charter
that-
requires that we have the police department. We can't.
It's not the charter, it's an ordinance. It's not in the charter.
Well,
So
we have
that's-
an
so that's
ordinance,
a- yeah.
So either we need to fix the ordinance,
Which you can do. Yeah.
or we need to make sure that we can live with this and still meet the parameters of that ordinance.
Yeah.
So. I don't
And-
know.
and- But the department's going away. You can have a department with no employees.
It's required to have employees in it. Why would you have a police department if you have no police?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have an ordinance saying that you have a police
Yeah.
department and then just have a building that says police department, but there's no people in it. That
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's the intention of an ordinance, but the intention of this agreement was a stopgap between the time that Chief Moore quit and we could find somebody else to take his place.
Yeah.
I understand, there's a community push to not have the police department and look more to the county because of all the expenses involved. But we have not delved into all those expenses. We have not compared what is going to be. This one's a 5% every year
Mhm.
rolling.
Yeah.
5% every single year.
So what happens if the county comes back and says, okay, well, so we have an approximate of what 2 police officers cost? 200,
Around
250, 220,
265.
265.
That was wages.
Yeah.
Wages,
Yeah.
insurance, vehicles.
And then
That was wages.
that was wages
That was just wages.
Yeah.
and
That's what this
benefits
budget
and
is for wages. It
Yeah.
did not include their health insurance and what we had to pay for their retirement. It did not include what we had to buy all those cars back there.
Yep.
It didn't include the dispatch. It didn't include
Yeah.
everything that's.
so I guess with the budget that you approved, what was the line for law enforcement?
200,000.
So I think pretty much you're almost tied by that budget as well. to fulfill a year with the county because of, the lack of information of how much would dispatch cost, based on, a hybrid type situation. Though there's a few unknowns still out there. And so based on the budget, not only, the desire of the county to fulfill 1 year until the end of the fiscal year, but also you're bound by the budget that you adopted.
But were we ever talking about a year commitment in this? We were talking about, I thought it was a temporary until we.
Right,
Because
and
he
I
was
kept
gonna
mentioning
run
a
it.
60-day termination notice, and he shook his head every time I said it. The sheriff sat here
Yeah.
and shook his head. I said, all we have to do is give you 60 days and you quit.
Yeah. It was the
It
undersheriff.
was the undersheriff.
Yeah, it was the undersheriff. Yeah,
But
Craig, that was
They
here.
were both sitting right there,
Sure.
and they were both shaking their head.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into we're required to go
Yeah.
minimum of 12 months. And if we do that, so now we've got a budget issue. Timing of this.
You have a word
we will be
may
tied
in
into
there,
this
do
for
you not?
another year.
Yeah. Well, until
If we
July.
sign it now, if we sign it now and it starts November 1st,
Or is it retroactive to the fiscal year?
no, it says as of the date of signing.
As it the data signing?
I guess I'm confused on how this has been going on since, like a year and a half? 2 years?
2 years.
How do we not have those numbers already? What?
But it was negotiation that recently.
Yeah, but
happened.
this dispatch,
Well, the
this is
the
like it's
dispatch
gonna
was
go
quoted
down.
to us at 143,000. I could be off by a couple of
Which
thousand.
was ridiculous,
Yeah,
honestly.
it jumped.
Especially considering that no other entity that receives dispatch, including private entities, are charged.
Well, I guess that's just
So-
another negotiation point, but we don't know what is on, if the county is even offering that. And at this point, are they even offering a hybrid situation, or are they going to say, no, you have to have your whole entire police force, which we know the town of Manhattan does have their own police force. They have 5 officers and their budget is $767,000. So I guess what's that? I think that was when I called, that was their request from, for this, what's that? Yes, for Manhattan, I believe so. Yeah, so it was 767,000. There might be some other costs too, but I think that was what they were, it was before their budget was adopted. That was their request from the Manhattan Police Department. So.
My only concern with doing away with the Ennis Police Department completely is that if we have to rebuild it because the state or the county gets greedy, and instead of a 5% increase the next time we sign this, it's gonna, instead of 200,000, they're gonna ask for 500,000.
Yeah.
It's 20% of your budget. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
That is 17 mills in Twin Bridges is 20% of their budget. 17 mills in Virginia City is 20% of their budget. This comes to an equivalent. Their original number was a little bit higher, but it's about that much. So if the costs in Big Sky increase and the county has to pay more and more and more to Gallatin to cover, finances are finances, and they have to figure out how to meet those.
Well, I'm
So
just
you
saying the
either
state
do it
is just
this
now
way or
turning
you
the
put in
sheriff's department into a business.
or you put it
And
into
any
a
business
safety mill.
that's gonna, try to keep their bottom line and keep their employees is gonna raise prices.
Yeah.
As the demand goes up. So
There-
if we keep demanding more services, it's gonna cost us.
There's
And
also
we
what.
don't have control over it.
Yeah. Well, there is also HB 333. I agree with you. This is a transition year. And it's going to be interesting to see how other towns and community, I think there will be more data over the course of next year to see how other towns and counties are satisfying HB 33. And so there might end up being a average cost of service or something like that over the year that would give us a trend, what's happening in Marr County, what's happening, over in, I don't know, Ravalli County, those small entities, and figuring that out. So I agree with you. It maybe does change, but it also has them, they are going to hire officers to fulfill the obligation here, was my understanding. And so I can understand from that perspective if they're
I
hired.
understand that,
Yeah.
but all I'm saying is it's completely different than what was presented to us the first time. So it needs more consideration at this point. Because we're now when we get into our budget next year,
Mhm.
we're still gonna have 3 or 4 months left on this thing.
Yeah.
So we have 3 or 4 months left on this thing, and possibly we have candidates that can fill up our police department if we deem it doable, cost effective. Then we have an overlap in our front yard. It's gonna affect our budget. That's all I'm trying to say.
It is. And I'm concerned a little bit that we made a motion to have 2 very distinct changes made to this. And only 2 distinct changes when we approved it, and it came back different.
Yeah.
So that number one bothers me a little bit, that the intent of the motion was not granted by our attorney.
Right.
When he rewrote this, which bothers me a little, but in the end, I just don't see us putting a police department together before this thing ends anyway.
Probably not. Probably not, but this is something that you need to go on the record right now. It needs to be tracked. It needs the due dates, the end dates, when it needs to be tracked. Because if we do find a way to get the police department for less than the 200 or 205 or 210 it'll be next year. That's what the county is. That's what the county's charging us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a rolling 5% increase every year.
Which I'm okay with the 5%.
Which,
Everybody's got it.
we'd even, from my point of view, we'd even talked in our lease agreements about doing an annual 5%.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a shock to me. It seemed like that's what we were looking at for the lease of our properties. It makes sense that the county would also build that in, knowing that their costs are going to increase as well.
And the cost, wages increase every year.
Well, they probably, yeah.
They have their cost of living.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
I'm not
5%
opposed.
doesn't bother.
I wasn't opposed
Well,
to the
it doesn't
5.
bother me either, but I'm just saying if we can find a cost-effective way of getting the police department back up, because we haven't discussed that part. We can't just leave it hanging.
No.
I think, like I said before, I would love to have that discussion with 3 or 4 different options and really whittled down to cost on each option, on real cost. But I don't see us having that discussion, hiring a police chief, hiring a second officer, and this thing is taking 3 damn years to put together.
How do you think you're going to be able to find or create a new police department for less than what was budgeted for the previous years when there was only 1 officer? And now you're going to have more officers. So where are you coming from that you think you're going to be able to create a department for less than the 200?
That's where his options come in. Just like Jim Nehan did with the mayor, came up with several different options where we were working with the sheriff's department, but we had our own here.
Mhm.
And we were going to either have 1 or 2 or 3 or none or
We were
not
actually
use the
supposed to
sheriff
have
at
a
all.
big
But
chart.
that still wasn't going to be,
All the big chart.
Yeah.
that still wasn't going to be,
Positives, negatives.
it still wasn't going to be less than 200,000.
The budget was way more than 200,000.
As I said, I have concerns that the intent of our motion was not followed. And that concerns me a little on all motions that we make. But
Just to be clear, I'm not advocating that the police department get restarted. I'm saying that we need to look into it. We've got an ordinance out there that currently we're not in compliance with. The town is not in compliance with. So we have to rectify that. So either we rectify that or we move forward with a plan to work with the sheriff's department to have another 1 or 2 officers over here, whatever works out. So if we have a town ordinance, and does that have to be voted on by the populace or just here?
An ordinance, if you, must be changed through 2 public hearings.
So if the public decides, they
You
don't want to
do
get rid
have
of the
to-
EPD, then our hands are tied. We have to stick to the
You
ordinance.
do have to put to
So,
the voters to rescind,
rescind an ordinance. Yep.
rescind the 50,000 that was voted for the second additional officer.
Theoretically, that money should have come back to the voters. We haven't had a second officer for quite.
It was
Not
budgeted
consistently.
on-
Right.
I don't know, my personal thing is sign this and mark it on the calendar. October 15th, we signed it. 60 days prior to that is when we need to have a real decision made for next year. So that's August 15th of
Yeah.
next year. I don't see us getting this train in line by then, but,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. We are gonna have to do some work either on the ordinance
or, Yeah,
or putting
absolutely.
together the plans.
Yeah.
To present,
but that August 15th is the deadline now.
yes. Exactly, at least. Is the position posted right now?
No.
I know, I was thinking that.
No, okay, so I'll get that in my other report, what you found. There were several, and I can explain, and I'll get to how all of that came about, because I was trying to get into the site to look for job posting and how we were gonna do it, and it coming up with an ad for a medication. But we have that all figured
Was it
out.
blue?
I don't even remember.
It's still there.
No,
I
it's
found it
not
on
still
hers,
there, and I
yeah.
will show you how and why. Because it's not actually the town's site. If you refresh
It's
your
through that
browser,
WordPress.
if you refresh your browser, it won't be there. What it is before my time, even the town's website was hacked. And Google, because you're using Google, but if you use a different search engine, it doesn't come up that way.
Oh, wow.
Because you refresh your browser. So when you do it, it was an old stored image that they cached so that you could get to the site easier. But that's what it was.
But if our site was hacked, I mean, we're getting off topic here.
But that's what it, so now,
Back to, so
now that you, when you actually look at our site and you can have
doesn't that
employment
stuff get cleaned
opportunities.
up with like,
We
like
put in
mal-
a submission, for it to be.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff.
Taken
that
out of their
missing
archives.
things and things that need to be worked
So.
on the website.
Okay. So
Right,
for this
so-
agreement.
So back to
yes.
this. I'll make a motion that we approve this darn thing.
Second, is there a second?
My only problem really with it is everybody that's been
Second.
listening in or that's came to meetings, they thought the same thing that we thought. I mean, they've been hearing us talk about this and that these changes were going to be made and that's what we were going with. And now we've got something different than what we thought.
And I'm just reading the scope of services, and I believe that has changed too, that now you're only gonna patrol Ennis 50% of the time during a shift.
No, that was.
No,
correct.
that was
That was
there.
there.
That was there.
But I thought they were gonna have someone stationed here.
The last time we saw it, it said they were
No.
here 50% of the time. on
I looked at
duty
them
of-
side
Of a
by side
shift.
today.
What is the state auditor receipts?
That's stuff we get from the state for like drug prevention money that goes to
Training.
training for police. That if we can't use it, the sheriff's office.
And we turn it on to
Yeah.
throw over to them. Okay, I'll second.
All right. Any other public comment before a vote? I don't even remember where the vote was. I think we're to Mitch again.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain. I haven't.
All right. Commission reports. We will start with Commissioner Sully.
Well, mine's pretty easy. I haven't done much of anything since we've been here every week.
Feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, we have spent more time together than our families have spent with us. I just came back from Bozeman from physical therapy, and I didn't go home and grab my notebook or anything. So I know that I've got the league coming up next week over in Billings. I also have been looking through some of the stuff that was sent to me for big trucks and the volume that the trucks are allowed to bring through from the Montana Department of Transportation and stuff. They're trying to, they had a thing last year where they worked with different city officials throughout the United States. In fact, the county that I came from in North Georgia, Charlie Paris, which is our county commissioner, he had signed it. So I kind of read into it, looked into this to see what it was, and I agreed with them. It is a lot of damage that's coming through our little roads and things like that. So they're trying to make it, the truckers are trying to make it where they can haul more and capacity. In the town, I actually looked, my opinion on it was I went with that we don't need that because it's a lot of more wear and tear on our roads. So I would prefer the smaller truck size anyway. It's not going smaller than what we already are, but it's just not going bigger. We already have triples going through here. Yeah, and so then the rural Montana, some of those looking at certain grants and things that are coming up that would be done for Main Street, different projects and things like that. So that's really what I've been doing.
Like she said, feels like we've been here every week. So I don't really have much new. I'm heading out of town for about a month, so the next meeting I may be on Zoom.
I attended the library board meeting. Again, Karen does a great job. We did have a couple questions on some of the reports that came through, but I think you and Carter were going to work with Ginger on that. Other than that, it's been tax season since before August 15th, so I'm still knee deep in taxes, so I haven't done much. But as far as next meeting, I will be on a plane. I get on the plane at 6 o'clock.
And I might not. It's a big question mark whether I'm going to be here.
So segue into that, that's going to put all the weight on Sally, Christy, and Corey Hardy, because this evening or today was our bid meeting with Great West for the start of our actual project. So they are prepping contracts. I had a meeting with, so we have to do an ARPA extension, remember? So I had that meeting and they had concerns as to the timeline not moving quickly enough. And they even wanted to see those bid contracts before our November meeting, if at all possible. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Colette to see how today's bid meetings went, but if they have the contracts prepared, I would like to do a pre-meeting with contracts where we do those contracts, picked our contractors and approve those. And then also we'll have our audit contracts as well for you to choose. So we may have to have one before November, a regular November.
And our next meeting's November 13th.
Correct.
Is that, am I reading the calendar right? 13th?
That was 13th? I'll be here.
I could be back. Yeah, I thought it was the week before too.
No, this is our weird month where it's really early, which I affectionately love early second Thursdays.
Yeah, there's a good chance I'll be here then.
Okay. So as soon as I actually see when our contracts, when Great West has them, I will let you know and see what Dave picks. So when are you out?
I'm leaving here pretty soon, and The last day of nationals is the 10th of November. Then I gotta drive back from Central Texas. So I'll be pulling in right about the 13th.
Okay, so you really aren't gonna be done.
I should be here. I drive fast.
But I mean, in between, if we were to have it in between to review the contracts meeting.
Yeah,
gone.
I'd have to do it by Zoom.
Okay. Mitch, when are you gone?
I leave November 6th and I come back on the 10th. I'm going to Tallahassee for a softball tournament. I do play Friday evening, but I'm gonna be open all day Friday. I land at like 9 in the morning Friday, so. Their time, so it'll be 7 o'clock here.
Okay, so that's that. That at least gives me an idea for a time frame. Is there days that you're on the road? Because road days are hard.
Yeah, I mean, the last day of nationals is with the 9th or 10th, and if I'm still playing then I'll be driving back right after that. But there's a good chance I'll be out long before that.
Okay. All right, so for.
And on the 10th, I land at 1 o'clock. So.
Okay. Gives me at least a timeline for trying to figure out the contract part. All right, so I confirmed the receipt of 2 public records requests. I hadn't sent anything to Guza before this moment to have him review anything, and I'm glad I did. He gave updated recommendations to the request form as to not just date of receipt, but I don't have the code with me, but there's a MCA that we didn't have on there that says that it must be replied to within 5 business days. So I'm going to add that to the form and then create like a flow chart of it so that there's that. So he gave some feedback on how to improve some of those, and then gave specifics on what can be requested and what isn't allowed. So there will be a copy of those for the requests to be filled from them to make sure that they meet all the requirements. Next is following up with what engineering, their company hired by a business here in town to meet pre-treat requirements. We were going to have monthly meetings with that company and monthly progress reports to meet compliance. Then it's on to CDBG items with Craig Erickson. We've been working with him for all the paperwork, copies of the minutes of our hearings. The final application date is now November 15th. So we will accept letters of support until the 1st. So that date hadn't officially been set. So that's where that is. Prep the 2 resolutions, started on the water rate increase, worked with Ed on the interlocal. Yes, I know that's what we wanted from our agreement. That's not what the county attorney necessarily wanted from their agreement. So I guess it's like every negotiation, as long as nobody's happy, then it's pretty much how a negotiation went. That's how that, I've heard that term entirely too many times. So I attended the planning board meeting, and our growth policy is pretty much complete and in its draft format. So if you go to the town website right now, we have what's called a story map. So it's a shortened version of our big document, and it still has a link for feedback. So I went in, verified that everything worked, filled out the survey portion of that, did the thing. So again, story map's open, check it out. With it, we also worked out a lot of the map issues that are wrong and sent those into Kevin, because now he is the lead on that. It was Jerry Grubentz from Great West was the lead on that. Jerry has moved on and is now going to be working for Montana League. And so Kevin is taken over as the lead to finish up the growth policy for us. But the story map's up and active, and if they want comment, if there's anything wrong, now's the chance to fix the maps. If you see anything, double check it. So
How's
That's-
the letters been coming in? Has there been many received recently?
Oh, letters of support for,
Yeah.
there's been a few here, there, and yonder that are plunking in, but,
We need
so you
more?
can email out anybody and they send them on out. Then it's the regular encroachment permits and special events permits. But again, push the storyboard so that we know. We don't want to get to our final document and people be like, we didn't like that. So now's our good chance before we go into public hearings to make any changes before we're there. We have our official release from the Department of Administration that we've met all of our requirements for cash reconciliation. IT, are we clear on the weird thing that happened with the ads for prescription drugs showing up on various pages? So now that that's cleared up, I'm gonna clear up the rest of it. I wanted to do our cleanup all at the same time. So now we can update Christy on the website, the planning board members, do it all at once. It decreases the IT time, so web page rework through its kinks should be all ready there, but John sent in the submission to Google to be like, hey, can you lose that from your archived data? Because we really don't appreciate it. So, but it would never show up on the browsers here because they're like designed to refresh. So we weren't seeing it. And then it wasn't until like at one of mine. And I don't use Google as my browser. So I opened Google and that's when it showed. So there's that. So until Google actually goes, yes, we will fix that. They don't have to. It's refresh. So I learned a lesson. If you want the most up to date in anything, refresh, because they could just be using somebody's business's hours from 2 years ago. So that's in a nutshell. My final push stuff will be the water rate increase. I don't think I have any other hardcore legislative actions that we're gonna tackle before the end of the year.
So you're planning a meeting before November 13th?
Contract approval. I'd like to get that going. And get what we can get done before the weather turns. So that's all I have. Anything for the next meeting? On unscheduled.
Can we figure out how many houses aren't annexed that get water services?
I will do that for the,
Or
we're gonna,
Yeah,
because we're gonna have to do it for the
yeah.
contracts, and I will have a draft resolution for us to go through, so we can do all of those before I actually send out letters, because I don't want to be like, I wrote this, here's our resolution of intent, and now you guys are like, I don't like that part. I already sent out the letters to everybody. Or British.
Vicky, did you hear me say I would do it?
Yeah, so we'll have those. Okay? Anything else?
Oh, Ginger, how did did you ever figure out that compensated absence thing that,
And Black Mountain hasn't either. But now I haven't heard back from them in several days, but
Something else that's on our list for them too. I
no.
don't remember what it is right now.
all right,
It might come down to where I told you I'd have to separate.
yeah.
The online training closes tomorrow. Registration for the online training with the league closes tomorrow. The one that Mitch did, you did it as well, didn't you? The online training with MSU?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, you two did the online training, but that closes tomorrow if anybody's
Are you giving
interested.
me the ones that we've already done, or?
It's just it's the same
The same work we
course.
did. Okay.
You've already done it. You're attending training in October. National League's in Salt Lake in November. Ooh. And we increased the training budget, so.
Who's going to the conference next weekend? But
I guess unless anybody wants to join.
I haven't heard.
Could
No,
you
Corey can't go
only-
because he's
I think there's only a couple more days to register, I believe.
Yep.
Tomorrow maybe.
Tomorrow's the deadline for that registration as well. And all of our engineers and stuff will be up there.
And if you got any of those little questions and things you want me to ask and find out about.
Oh, and I filled out the MDT's big survey of the year. They email Ginger repeatedly if somebody doesn't fill that out. So that's done. Check. The STIP report is here. Their street is up front. The only thing scheduled for next fiscal year for them is portion by the fish hatchery. They do it by county, so I looked. That was the only thing in our area. So nothing that would affect, no chip sealing or anything going into town. So that report's there if you want to look at it. They're available.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's the second? Hey. Thank you.
All right, wasn't here.
I don't remember meetings being this fast. Did everybody?
Usually not.
This was actually a
Yeah.
little bit quicker
I don't
than,
remember
yeah.
that.
I've been here till like 11 o'clock at
Well, the ones with the work sessions afterwards,
Yeah.
they get kind of like.
Well, you're gonna have to cover it.
night. Yeah. Don't get used to this. Man,
This is the one. Yes. This is identified. And funniness, yeah, because.
Were you not included or you chose last week? Way back when. I don't know.
I'm not saying punish it. I just want to know how many's out there.
Was it grandfathered in, Ms. Christensen, do you know, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, because it had always been that way.
Barney, the old fire chief, used to own the building, my partner, Christian's now.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, 100 years ago, we got water.
Yeah.
And so, here's the resolution. I'm sorry, we're, like a crappy little lady, but there should be that overnight, be at the annex. Off the drive. Okay. Yeah, down the road, you know, so now it's, I can walk away from this or whatever, but it goes the wrong way or. No.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not saying punish it. I just want to know how many's out there and where they are.
You just like to look into it,
Yeah.
to see what it would cost, what benefits would you get, what would you not get, and it's your place, so you need to have a say in it. I definitely would love to, anytime you have anything like this to say, I'm always available to listen to it.
You probably don't know James.
Well, maybe we should talk to yourself and them and see, see what everybody thinks. I mean, you do have a right to have representation to your opinions and your vote. Yeah, so, but people need to listen to you, so I don't take it as you're an old lady crabby. Old lady in Los Angeles is very crabby. And, I don't know what's going on with my property in my land too, so.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, are you kidding? What's that? I'm fine with that, but when I saw it, I was like, really?
Let's be going on in that chair.
Well, good for you. I'm happy you're here. Like, that, it's not what I expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I guess. Okay, she's right. It didn't make sense to me. I've already been one this year. Yeah. And I'm not for the next year. Maybe. I've only gone to very easily open doors. There are amazing things there, but. We're just there. I have enough trying to keep track of where the children are. I was like, this morning at 7 a.m., I flipped on the light to Helen's room. He already left and had early cross country leaving. He's going to be in bed out of bed anyway, so I didn't really care. But he's like, ah! And I'm like, I'll just like flip on the light, the guy knock, and I was like, bloop. I'm so glad you're wearing pajamas. Like, good morning, teenage child of mine. I thought you were already gone. I'm sorry. Homecoming week has my brain frazzled up who's on version when. I don't remember. Sorry, teenage boy for. Spill over. This is the one that's great. Brenda and I did double duty today. Oh yeah, we both have those. We both have them already, and then she's. I didn't understand because you had no and abstain. So did that last one pass? I don't think there was a no. What? In any of the votes tonight. Wasn't there a no? I thought she said no. She said yes. Yes. Okay. And again, I wouldn't say yes to something that's 3 times as much as everybody else is paying, or 10 times as much as anybody else in the county is paying.
I think 76,500 would have been my answer, but do I know? Oh, that's changed 50% of the shift. No, 50% of the day. I'm pretty sure the last meeting I said that's a decrease in a 2-officer system by 6 hours a week. And I'm pretty sure that was just last one back out. Welcome back. It is a reduction in the service hours per se. And because we're still recording, I did love the fact that an officer sat there and watched the lights blink for the crosswalk 2 Mondays ago. Wow, 3 kids, 3 separate times, kids in the crosswalk. People ignored it and let it through. So I guess they're fulfilling their right here. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're not pulling anybody over for trying to run over children, considering we just died in Dillon, I don't know why we have the crosswalk. Why don't we just tell them it's new fucking Dodge Hall?
Yeah. That was freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Police officer sat right across the line. Yeah.
Yeah, she was here for that day, for that house.
But you saw it too.
Yes.
I didn't see it. I was sitting back 3 or 4
Yeah,
cars.
I looked out the window and I was like, holy shit. Excuse me, but there was bad words. There was bad words that came out of my mouth, Sharon.
And so then you're gonna.
No, we'll just have a school, school teachers and video as well. That's fine. Oh, yeah. It doesn't say in this agreement that, it says, any criticism may be taken under advice, basically.
Yeah, in other words, forget it, I'm yours. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a shame.
Hey, are you done out of here? I give up today. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
We're done.